Well, I'm out today on the Jolly Blue Giant. The Giant Fastroad. It's a beautiful day, although there is quite a wind blowing. And I'm heading up to Nanty Moyle on what used to be a railway line. And I think that's probably the only way I could get to Nanty Moyle, to be honest, because the road involves some serious hills, and I don't know if I've got the strength for that. But the railway line was a nice, easy, steady gradient. Still a lot of climbing, but fairly consistent and not too difficult, he says, out of breath. It's been a while since I've been out on the Fastroad. For those of you who watch regularly, I got a new bike about a month ago, and I've ridden it quite a lot, and I've had the occasional ride out on the trek, but the Fastroad got a little bit neglected, and it's a shame really, because it is a lovely bike. In fact, I think the Fastroad is probably one of the best bargains you can get at the moment in cycling. Of course, typically the uphill stretch is into a headwind. It's been really windy the last few days, last week or so, and it kind of catches you out, because you go out in beautiful sunshine thinking it's a lovely day, and if you go the wrong way, it's a hell of a struggle getting back home. It must have been a lovely job being a train driver on this line. It's another one of those jobs that they're trying to get rid of. Automated. Everything, automation. Driverless cars, driverless trains, self-checkouts, internet-only banking. I'm not sure what's going to happen once they finally manage to get everybody out of work. Because once you've got everybody out of work, who's going to buy the products they're trying to sell? Very typical railway bridges, these. Oh, this is a lovely place to ride. Morning. There's a lot of dog walkers, obviously. People enjoying the sunshine. But it's nice to be away from the traffic. And look at those mountains ahead. Fortunately, I'm not going up there. I find it interesting with these houses. Obviously the railway's been gone for a long time, but you can imagine how the residents cursed the noise of the train, but how the kids loved it. Morning. And the wind and the hill are taking their toll on me a bit now. Still not long to the turning point. The thing I need to work on is core strength. I'm finding it quite difficult to be relaxed in the arms, and that puts too much weight on my wrists. and I get numb hands. Alright, I'm going to turn down here. And then we'll go back and do a loop and back onto the path. We're not quite in Anti-Moyle, we're actually in Ogmore Vale, but it's 10 miles out. So it'll be 20 by the time I get back. It's a lovely little village, Ogmore Vale, but there's very little here now, since the pit's all closed. Still, you can get a nice cheap house if you don't mind commuting. And here we are, back to the path. Anyway, back to the fast road. As I said, the fast road represents incredible value. Really is a nice bike to ride. And the name isn't a misnomer. The bike genuinely is fast. Ding ding, morning. And this one is an SL2 aluminium. And it's still really light. And that's including the fact that I've put heavier Bontrager wheels on, which some of you will know if you watch regularly, that I bought second hand because of a broken spoke over Easter and I couldn't get it fixed and one thing and another, and I bought these wheels for 40 quid, which was a bit of a bargain really. Spare set of wheels, you know. But it turns out that they're actually 32 spoke, which is better for me, being a fat boy and fairly powerful on the legs. So I've decided to use them as the main wheels rather than the spare wheels. And it's a fun bike to ride, it's very agile. So I bought this bike for 600 quid. £600, brand new. And there are bargains about with fast roads. I think the list price for this is only 790, and there's always deals going for last year's model, and the only difference really is the colour, and sometimes it's the colour you prefer anyway. Thank you. So if you're not obsessed with status, that's seen to be the one with the latest and greatest, and get yourself a good deal. As I've said before, I think cycling's too expensive. When it changed from a form of transport to a sport, suddenly all the prices went up, because that's the way it works. People will pay any amount of money to look serious in their sport, because people are always striving to be taken seriously. I don't know why. I think something's happened in society. Probably the neoliberalism and constant advertising to sell you things you don't need. So they have to try and make you feel like you're inferior. Thank you. I'm going faster than I should be. Recommended speed on these paths is 15, but I'm making the most of the tailwind. But obviously you have to be aware that you're the one in the wrong here. So you need to stand on the brakes and get past people. That's what you got to do. They look a bit serious about their running. But yeah, this fast road is quite a fast bike, and I run mine on gravel tyres because I ride all weather, and I don't like to be restricted about where I can go. And even then, it has a decent turn of speed. When I put the different wheels on, had a new set of tyres on, road tyres, and I rode on them for a bit, and boy did it make a difference. Really can tell. Never realised there was so much drag on these tyres. Oh dear, this looks serious. A whole bunch of ramblers. We have to try and negotiate our way past.
Hi.
Morning.
So that's one. Nice. Definitely.
Oh well, that wasn't too bad. So just keeping the speed up while the going's good. Obviously you should only do this when you can see a reasonable distance ahead. It's just not polite to go around frightening people. Coming up behind them on a blind corner or something, or coming head on with another cyclist. It's one of my favourite bits of the path, going down alongside the river here. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Still, path is for everyone. And as I said, I'd still rather be putting up with a few pedestrians than having a constant stream of cars coming past me. Sometimes I wonder, when you ring the bell and people don't move, do they just not hear you? I think sometimes there is an arrogance and people just won't move. I think a lot of the time people, particularly elderly people, don't hear as well. And sometimes you just hear a ding of a bell in the distance and it doesn't really, you don't really relate to it. I always ring. Somebody told me off once. I thought I was being impolite. I thought I was ringing saying, get out the way, and it was kind of impolite. And so I was just cruising along, brake a little bit, find a way round, squeeze past. And this woman stopped me. And she said, why don't you have a bell? I said, I have got a bell. She said, why don't you ring it? I said, well, I felt I was being a bit impolite. She said, no, I'd rather know you were there. She said, I find it quite frightening when bikes come past me, and I didn't know they were there. So overall, the fast road is just a very nice bike. People might think I'm paid by Giant. And trust me, I don't get paid by anyone. But I've got two of them now, the Fastroad and the Revolt, and they suit me. And I think, using a motorcycling analogy, the Giant is a bit like a Honda. It's nowhere near as exotic as a Ducati, but it just does everything really competently.